What's going on, gaming world? What's going on, world in general? So, we have some huge news here today. We don't know if this is going to be an official deal or not, but the fact that their stock shot up, which we'll get to, we'll see. Sony is apparently in talks to buy the media powerhouse, Kadokawa. I don't know if y'all know about Kadokawa, but they're a big thing over in Japan. This is going to cost them a few billion minimum, maybe more. So they're trying to look at ways maybe to get back at Microsoft. But I think it's going to be much more than that because this company is a powerhouse also in anime, but they also have a huge stake and pretty much own from software in certain percentages. We're talking almost 70%. So we're going to get into this. And a lot of people just don't like this, and I can understand because I kind of feel the same way too. Definitely how Western Sony is now, and I'm getting in bed with political correctness and just in general how they're trying to get a lot of Japanese power through monopolizing, but yet they abandoned Sony Japan Studio and a lot of other aspects of Japan and stationed themselves in California. So going over here, we see, let's go ahead and just back out here real quick. We see this right here, 700 plus 20, almost 23% shot up in the stock since that just came out over in Tokyo. So this is definitely not something that's just light. Let's go into Kadokawa. So as we see over here, industry, publishing, film, copyright, mass media, and video games. The holding company known today as Kadokawa Corporation was originally founded in 1945, right? So a big thing on this company too is something that happened at the Tokyo Olympics in 2020. They had the arrest of the actual chairman, Kadokawa himself. Apparently, he was making a bribe for 76 million yen, adjusted to 69 million under Japan's statute of limitations, to a consulting company with ties to a former executive of the Tokyo Olympics or organizing community in exchange for being selected as an official sponsor of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics and Paralympic Games. Kadokawa has denied the allegations, but they still ended up going in for the arrest. He was, as you see right here, indicted by prosecutors on October 4, 2022. Later that day, he announced his intent to resign as a chairman of his company. He continued to deny the allegations and vowed to prove his innocence at trial. And then in 2024, we saw that they had acquired the anime studio Doga Kobo. Now we're going to go more into some other things. As you see right here, Sony abandoned Sony Japan in 2021. So that's kind of like my thing with here. But group companies, let's go down. Publication. Interactive, entertainment, and gaming. FromSoftware, almost 70%. Yeah, so if Sony gets that, that means 70%, right? Spike Chunsoft, as we know, they're with Bandai. They make anime games, Dragon Ball games, and all that. Acquire, Tenshu Company, and stuff like that. Gotcha Gotcha Games from Networks. And then if we go down to Group Media, we see Chunsoft down there. And then, there's just a lot of other stuff. But looking also deeply into them overseas and over here, they have a ton of anime. So they could get a monopoly into the anime market too. Um, Not only that, but other aspects too, like education and all that, which is not as big as other things. But this is just to give y'all, an insight into that. But going back over here, a lot of people also don't want that to happen because they feel like they didn't do anything with the Bloodborne remake. Um, Not only that, but look at this. Look at these comments right here. They'll do and still won't give people Bloodborne Master. Yeah, not only that, but we don't want any Western influences coming into from software and into the anime industry. Definitely with them being stationed in California. So I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest with you. Sony also declined to comment about the process, which kind of makes sense because they're not going to say anything to it. But yeah, I mean, they have a big stake in Elden Ring. This is the company that's been behind them. I don't know if y'all knew that, but now you do. And I just don't want them having any influence on from software. Another thing that's very important about this that you need to understand is on October 29th, 2021, Kadokawa announced that it had formed a capital and business alliance with Tencent, or China, which acquired a 6.8% stake in a conglomerate for 30 billion yen, which is 264 million. The aim of the alliance is for Kadokawa to expand its global reach using Tencent's platforms. meaning China. China, where the company has an existing joint venture with Tencent, is a particular target. So Tencent's going to be aligned more with Sony. There's going to be more Chinese influence into that. And we know that that can go back to the Chinese Communist Party as well, because you can't separate that from anything that's done in China. So, this is yeah, not something that's going to be light over in Japan. I wouldn't say that this will be on par to an Activision deal, but it's still going to be another big acquisition after Bungie. They're at least going to probably have to pay 4, 5, 6 billion for them, maybe more. Who knows? We're going to see what happens. But as we know, like I said, going back over here, we see that there's a huge stock jump. So they're thinking about increasing their value big time if Sony is going to be getting them. So if we want to go read like what, let's go take a look at a website real quick. Where would be the source here? Let's look at what Reuters says right here. The shares closed up to 23% at their daily limit. Its market capitalization was around 2.7 billion prior to the Reuters report. Sony shares closed up 0.6%. They declined to comment. The critically acclaimed title is a collaboration, as we see right here. Sony already has a 2% stake in Kadokawa, and a stake in Kadokawa controlled FromSoftware, the developer of the hit fantasy action roleplay games, as we know, Dark Souls and Elden Ring. So, like I said, if they do get that, they're going to have 70+% control of that stake. Going down a little bit over here, Kadokawa has begun as a publisher in 1945, but has expanded into games, anime, events, and figures with franchises such as Re:Zero, in which a teenager boy is summoned to a fantasy world, which people know about the Re franchise. Other franchises include Delicious in Dungeon, a manga series adapted into anime about adventurers exploring dungeons and eating monsters they encounter. Known as the inventor of the Walkman, Sony has transformed from an electronics manufacturer into an entertainment and technology juggernaut spanning movies, music, games, and chips. So, like this, I think this is going to be a bigger jump in the anime manga world for Sony, more than it would be for video games. Though, like I said, if you get behind Spike Chunsoft too, let's take a look at Spike Chunsoft if y'all don't know about them. Because Bandai owns them. Let's take a look at their games list here. That's pretty much their game list right there. Like I said, they're also around with Dragon Ball games too, as we know. Sparking Zero, J-Stars, Jump Force. So yeah, that's a look at that. But that's not a major deal compared to FromSoftware, I think. But I don't think they'll control FromSoftware. I think that they'll leave them alone. But I mean, if you do that, come on, man, give us Bloodborne 2. You know what I mean? Give us a Bloodborne remake, and that's what a lot of people want. So that's my thing about this. Let me know what y'all think about this. We're gonna see what happens. There's definitely some talks going on in Japan right now. A lot of reacts going on because that's a big thing over there, and I think that they're more worried about anime more than anything with the Western influence in China. So we're gonna see what happens with that. All right, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.